Welcome, fellow freaks, geeks, and nostalgic peeps, to my channel, Slime and Slashers, where, yeah, we talk about everything from Nickelodeon slime to horror movie slashers, but plenty of stuff in between, including books. And this is a very special book-themed video because today is a special book recommendation video, specifically a recommendation video for books that are perfect for summer and perfect for
Christmas Evil in July.
If you guys don't know what Christmas Evil in July is, I will tell you all about it. So stay right where you are, grab a snack maybe if you're a little hungry, grab a drink just to get some refreshments. We are in summer, after all. Might need some lemonade to cool off, to keep cool or whatevs. Alright, stay right there. When we get back from the short intro, I will tell you guys all the deets and get into the book recs. Welcome back, guys! Alright, so let me tell you what Christmas Evil is before we jump into the book recs. So this is going to be a recommendation video for two different types of things. So books that are great for summer, period, and then books that are great for Christmas Evil in July, which is a readathon that I am co-hosting with a whole bunch of other fantastic people that I'm just in love with. I love these people to the end of the earth. These people are some of my favorite people in all of BookTube, and I highly recommend that you follow each and every one of them because they are all badass and all marvelous, wonderful human beings. Christmas Evil in July and Christmas Evil was created by Kelly over at Kelly Hooked on Books. Check out her channel. I will link her announcement video below. Now, Christmas Evil in July is a very small 2-week readathon in July. Christmas Evil, which is what we did last year in 2022, this is one of our shirts, Christmas Evil readathon, bitch. That became like our mantra, is me saying bitch, so this is me in a Santa costume in a snow globe saying bitch. We do have merch. We don't have shirts for Christmas Evil in July, but Lexi made bookmarks. You could check out her Etsy store. I will link it below, but here are two of the bookmarks. Really great. Here's the white one. Isn't that great? She is so talented. Check her out. She also designed the cat and dog logos we have, and we have those as stickers and magnets. Here's the cat logo so you could see what the cat looks like. And there's different colors of cats and dogs available. Let me show you the dog. Look at him! He's holding a knife and a margarita. So yeah, we had to make it summerfied, so Lexi designed these awesome frickin' snow globe pet logos. They're fantastic. And then I also made me a summer version of me saying bitch as well. So if anyone who wants that to keep with continuity from the 2022 Christmas Evil, this would keep in with the continuity of that. So we've got a Zazzle store with the stickers, magnets, and mugs. And we also have Lexi's Etsy store, which has the bookmarks, like I said. But also make sure that you're following us on Instagram and on Discord. We have an official Christmas Evil readathon Instagram and a Discord, and there'll be lots of activities going on each place leading up and into Christmas Evil in July. On our special custom Discord, we do have printables. I found out that I have a typo on the printable. I have 2 L's for holiday, so I have to fix that. But anyway, the printable is great if you like to write things out and plan things that way. So it's just like our Christmas Evil from December, but the devil has glasses in this July one. And the title actually says in July for this one. Alright, so we've got 3 viewing prompts because we're going to be having watch parties on our Discord, which you use the little voice channel and you could watch movies along with us and chat along with everyone in a big group, or you could just watch movies on your own time, at your own speed, etc., etc. Or you can ignore the watching prompts and just do the reading prompts and the photo prompts, or just the reading prompts, or just the photo prompts. Do as many or as few as you want. Our Instagram page, please remember to tag us so that we get alerts about all of the photos you're posting during the readathon. So one of the watching prompts is watch any holiday TV episode, and for this one I did want to recommend people check out Halloweeny, which is the Halloween themed episode of The Adventures of Pete and Pete. It is so good, and if you're looking for a thematic episode, you can't go wrong with that one. Roseanne has some great Halloween themed episodes, so do Freaks and Geeks. They've got a great Halloween episode, so does My So-Called Life. Rugrats and Rocco both have great Halloween episodes, but Rocco also has a great Christmas episode, and so does Hey Arnold. So there's lots of like cartoony things that you could find holiday thematic episodes for, and I think that should be a lot of fun. The other specific watch prompt that I wanted to go over was you could watch a movie or a TV show episode set at summer camp. My friend Crystal just released her recommendations, and she mentioned Meatballs. Of course, that's starring Bill Murray, and I love that movie. Specifically, I love one scene where Bill Murray just starts chanting and yelling, "It just doesn't matter! It just doesn't matter!" And it was my mantra growing up. I love that so much. Fear Street, one of the new Fear Street movies on Netflix, takes place at summer camp, so that one would work. Sleepaway Camp, The Burning. If you don't want to do Friday the 13th, The Burning is like an alternative slasher movie set at summer camp. I do want to apologize. I am a little congested because I am getting over being sick, but I wanted to film this video because we're about to go out of town, and I wanted to make sure I had some things filmed before we left. So I do apologize because I feel like I can hear it in my own voice, but I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. So mainly what I want to go over are the reading prompts. And these prompts, like I said, will be specific to Christmas, Evil, and July, but a lot of the recommendations I'm going to be talking about are just perfect summer reads regardless. Alright, so the first prompt is read a book set during summer. And this is where I'm just giving you guys summer reading recs. These are great. I've got a group of books that I have read and a group of books that I have not read. Let's start off with the books that I have read. First book rec, we've got The Troop by Nick Cutter. I think this takes place in late summer, like almost the beginning of the fall, but it still feels summery to me. You've got a Boy Scout troop going to an island to camp out with their scoutmaster. Things devolve from there. I don't want to give away too much. This has epic hardcore body horror, so if you don't like that, I wouldn't check this out. Also, there are some animal abuse scenes which are very hard to read, so this won't be for everybody, but it is very thrilling, it is very tense, and it is very gross. It is very effective horror overall. When I think of summer reads, 3 things come to mind: summer camp, slashers, and animal attack. To me, those subgenres of books always scream summertime to me. It isn't always the case that those types of books are set in summer, but a lot of times there are. And when you think specifically about animal attack, you might think, Jaws, and Jaws would be a perfect book to read. No, bitch, if you're thinking about it, you should hesitate. You should say no. Because the book Jaws, especially if you love the movie, the book is a far cry from being as good as the movie. If you want to just keep the happy feels going, rewatch the movie, and that could be a perfect summer watch, especially because part of it takes place over July 4th, which is perfect for Christmas, Evil, and July. But Jaws the book, there's a whole big boring mafia subplot. There's also a really weird romantic angle explored between Chief Brody's wife and Hooper. So anyway, it's very, very strange, and you might not enjoy the book. It's not super fast-paced. There aren't a lot of animal attack scenes, but if you like animal attack as a subgenre and you're looking for one that is summery, I've got 2 suggestions right off the bat for you that are better than Jaws. The Nest by Gregory A. Douglas. This is about killer cockroaches. There is a little bit of a slower part in this, which examines some scientific reasoning why these roaches have changed and begun to attack and eat things. But besides that part, this book is awesome in terms of summery vibes, in terms of the carnage that the frickin' roaches wreak throughout this small island. So yeah, I think this is a great summertime animal attack book, and I 100% wholeheartedly believe that The Nest is better than the book Jaws. Next, summertime appropriate animal attack book, you've got The Roo by Alan Baxter. This is a newer book, but it has a very paperbacks from hell vibe, and that is on purpose. Alan Baxter wanted to capture the, 80s feel for animal attack, and so he wrote one about a killer kangaroo. Short, sweet, silly, gruesome kills. This isn't one of these books that you're going to feel like you can take on the world after reading it, like it's not going to change your life or anything, but it is a lot of fun, it is zany, and if you could just kind of go with a read and not think too deeply, I think you could really enjoy this. Another subgenre that comes to mind when I think of summertime is coming of age. And coming of age, it usually takes place during summer or throughout a whole year, and a lot of times the coming of age book does have a special scene that takes place in summertime, even if it takes place over a whole long year. And my favorite coming of age book of all time, it is not horror, but is perfect if you just like coming of age, we've got Boy's Life by Art McCammon. Now, as you can see, I freaking love this book. Look how many freaking post-it notes are here. This book is so beautiful. I have a lot of videos going over this book and why I love it so much. And like I said, it's not even a horror book, but it is just a profoundly beautiful book, and a book about growing up, about the magic of childhood. There is a little mystery at the core of this book, but that's not really the center focus of the whole book. It's really just about childhood and also the life of this small town in Alabama. It's got so many good characters in it. It does have a lot of characters, so if you don't like that, you might be put off by it, but every part of the book comes back in the end to tie into each other. So you might be learning about a random character that you think is meaningless in this book. You're like, why do I care about this barber? Why do I care about this random dude who walks around the town naked? That is an actual character in the book. He's a very strange guy. Anyway, all these characters have some special role to play in the larger scheme of the story, and it all ties together. Once you get to the end, you see how it all ties together. It's just really so masterfully woven together that I just can't not recommend it, because this is my favorite book of all time. And I did read it last July, so it is a perfect read for July, and this could hit all 3 of the reading prompts for Christmas, Evil, and July if you wanted. So our other prompt is to read a book set during any holiday. This has a very special scene that takes place over Halloween. That could count for that. It could count for taking place during the summer, because it does have a big chunk of this taking place during the summer, and also a mood read. So you could literally read this book, because it is a little bit chunkier, and count it for all 3 prompts if you really wanted to, because you can double dip or triple dip and count one book for all 3 prompts if you really want to, and this would be perfect for that. And just as I said a few minutes ago, summertime reminds me of slashers and summer camps. Here are a whole bunch of books that have to do with summer camp and slashers, and sometimes both. First up, Tribesmen by Adam Caesar. Love this, felt like an Italian movie, like a giallo movie, and so well done. Not your typical slasher, takes place on an island, definitely perfect for summer vibes. Tastes like candy. This takes place in an abandoned Halloween carnival during the last half of the book. The first half of the book is very much about character building, so it is a slower burn in terms of you gotta spend time with the characters. It does follow teenage characters, so this might feel too YA for some people, but it didn't feel like that for me. The kills in the end of the book are not YA at all. There is a mystery of who the killer is, but to me, I actually figured out who the killer was. It's not about who the killer is, in my opinion. It's about the great kills. It's about the compelling characters. Not all slasher books have great characters. This one does. And they're not your typical annoying teenage characters. These are really smart girls that are super, super compelling, and I really like our main character. She's a violinist, she's really badass, she's studious, and there's some humor in this too, because they all get high at the end, and it's very funny. It lends for some funny situations. But beyond all of that, this does take place at the end of summertime. Despite it taking place at a Halloween carnival, it actually takes place at the end of summer, because they're about to go into their senior year, into their doing this scavenger hunt that is supposed to take place before the year kicks off. And so yeah, we're getting like the end of the summer, beginning of the school year type of setting, and it would fit for the set during summer prompt. Another one of my favorite slashers, Tastes Like Candy, is like in the top 5 of my favorite slashers. This is the other one that's in my top 5 favorite slashers. And this one also has to do with summer camp. So we've got slasher and summer camp. This is very Friday the 13th heavy in terms of you feel like you're reading about a killer who rampaged through a summer camp, and that's very reminiscent of Friday the 13th, of course. But it takes a different spin on things. You've got to get into the novel to see what I'm talking about. There is another element that comes into it, and it's a surprise element. This is just one of my favorite slashers of all time, because it's very multifaceted. It's not your typical slasher. Interesting characters, interesting reason for the main character who survived the Carnage at the summer camp. She is like the lone survivor, the final girl, but she actually goes back to the camp, but she has a good reason for going back. And that's one of the reasons why I like it so much, is that I felt like it was believable that she'd even go back to this old summer camp where she almost lost her life and lost a lot of her friends. So anyway, Yeah, I love this book. I think it's so fun and compelling, especially if you like summer camp reads and if you like slasher reads in general. But this has a little something extra to it. I can't give away what it is, but you will see if you read it and get towards the end. You'll be like, oh, I didn't know it was going to go in that direction. So yeah, more summer camp slasher themed books. We've got The Con Season by Adam Caesar. I'm going to talk about Adam Caesar a lot in this recommendation video because very few authors can do a slasher story in book form. Adam Caesar is one of them. He is a master at writing a slasher scenario. Not all authors can do it and can do it well, but he can. And he makes compelling characters, he has interesting settings, and he loves horror movies, and that comes across while you're reading the book, or any of his books, really. So The Con Season, we've got this abandoned summer camp, and these people decide to do a kind of convention where they tell people you can live your favorite horror movie, come here and experience what it's like to live through a slasher. And they get a lot of B-movie like celebrities to appear, but things are more than what they appear to be on the surface, and it turns out these B celebrities have to fight for their lives at this convention that they thought was just going to be a reenactment of what it was like to be in a slasher movie. It's a little bit more than that, so yeah, we've got summer camp vibes, we've got slashing vibes, it's a lot of fun. Next up, this is part creature feature, part slasher, kind of. It's got everything, but it's definitely set during the summer and perfect for summertime. This is Kill Hill Carnage by Tim Meyer. Lots of fun, some of the grossest gory scenes ever in terms of smells and like the grossest opening scene specifically ever. This book has a lot of grossness in it, but in a great, compelling way. And it's fast-paced, it's intriguing, and you just want to know what happens next when you're reading. So I really had a good time with this one, and do highly recommend it for a great summer read. I did forget to mention that part of this takes place at an abandoned summer camp. That's why I grouped it in with my summer camp slasher books that I was talking about. Yeah, there is an abandoned summer camp that we have as a setting for part of this book. Another slasher that takes place at summer camp, Fat Camp by James Sabata. This actually made me tear up. There's a lot of freaking self-examination in this book, and it is not about fat shaming. That is not what this is. You might think, oh no, there's probably a lot of fat shaming in this. No. It's about the main character's struggle to accept his body, the main character's struggle to accept himself just as a person and his personality, and at the end, like, you know, will he feel comfortable being himself, etc., etc. But there is a slasher in the loose, so they have that to contend with as well. And it's just such a heartwarming story. There is some juvenile humor in this because we are following teenage young adult boys at a summer camp, and they do make crass jokes and stuff. So if you can get past that, I do think that the story at the core of this is very heartwarming and very well done. And there's some great carnage in this too. There's some great gore and some great slashing. So this is a really, really appropriate, perfect summer read. More summer recs. Here we go. The Forgotten Island by David Sodergren. Now, the male characters in this are terrible, but they're supposed to be terrible, and you're supposed to feel really great when some of the characters that you don't like get it, if that makes sense. So it's like you're watching a cheesy B-movie, but in book form. David Sodergren, just like Adam Caesar, is really good at writing a book that reads really fast, that reads almost like you're watching a movie. He's so talented at that, and you could tell he's a really well-versed horror fan, and also probably a horror movie fan, not just a horror fiction fan. So it comes across in these pages, and this would be great for summertime. You've got everything happening on an island, and there's creatures, there's killing, it's got everything. And yeah, I'm going to mention him again, Adam Caesar. He's got a great book called Video Night. I'm not absolutely certain this takes place during summer, but I think it does. I read this years and years ago, but this definitely reads like a horror movie. It reads like a perfect summertime movie you would just throw on, but it's a book, and so I would totally advise checking it out. It does have an 80s feel to it. I think it actually takes place in the 80s. It says John Hughes meets John Carpenter in this squirming, splattery, raucous homage to 80s horror. Grab your samurai swords and your TV remotes. It's going to be a long night. There are alien vibes in this. There's a lot of movie references in this, and the body horror in this is pretty, like, horrific, and I remember feeling, like, grossed out by one specific scene, that I think took place in a bathroom. Anyway, yeah, this one's gory and a lot of fun, and would be perfect for Christmas Evil in July, or if you're just looking for something fun to read during the summer. Now, this one is definitely set in the summertime. I just finished this a couple of days ago. This is Of Foster Homes and Flies by Chad Lutzke, and this blew me away. It is so short. It's a novella. It's only, let's see how many pages. It's very short. It is only 159 pages, but it packs a punch. This takes place in New Orleans during the frickin' the high point of summer in New Orleans, so I could feel the heat because I live in New Orleans, so I was like, oh, I could relate to this. He does describe how the atmosphere is so hot, and it's like, even though you lived in New Orleans all your life, you still feel like you'll never get used to the heat some days. So I was like, oh my god, I feel this in my soul right now. So this had a very compelling ending. I teared up. I loved it. It hit hard for being so short. And essentially, we're following this young boy who really, really wants to compete in his local school spelling bee, but his mother passes away, and he wants to try to still compete in the spelling bee. So what does he do to try to stay at home and not interrupt his life so that he could still be in the spelling bee? And yeah, this was powerful, very emotional read. Very entertaining as well. We've got Sunburned by R.L. Stine. This is a Fear Street book. I feel like Fear Street books, you could find tons of summer ones that would be perfect for Christmas Evil in July or any part of the summer. They're not perfect reads, but they're always fun and entertaining and quick reads. So I always recommend Fear Street because you usually can find summer ones, or you could find just ones that are perfect for any time of year. And a few more books set during the summer that I do not currently have in front of me. The Summer I Died. That one is an extreme book. Now, not everyone has liked this book as much as I have. Some people are turned off by the characters, others are turned off by the extreme violence, and my friend Ollie was not impressed by the violence or the characters, so he didn't like it at all. But I really enjoyed it when I read it, I think last June, and it really hit me hard, especially the ending. I thought there was some great discussion about fate versus, chance and luck. And so I thought it was a fascinating read. Another summer book that's not for everybody is Off Season by Jack Ketchum. That one, we've got a whole group of cannibals attacking these tourists who come to stay at a cabin. And there are a lot of vintagey things in this book that make it not for everybody. For instance, a lot of descriptions of boobs. I know my friend Kaylee talked about that. She didn't really like it. But I thought it was fun, especially because of this one scene where this dude gets his comeuppance and something happens to him and you're like, yes, bitch, you deserved it. Oh, take that. Anyway, yeah, sucker. I can't say what happens, but something gets cut. In a way, like, something gets removed, anyway, from a dude's body, and I'm not gonna say anything else. It's just awesome, and you're like, yes, bitch, yes, queen. And that part made it worth it for me. I think that's what made me like the book so much, that this dude got, like, this terrible thing happened to him. Anyway, it was awesome. Another book that I would be remiss if I didn't mention would be The Elementals by Michael McDowell. This is the perfect summer read because you could just feel the heat. The heat's like a character in the book. So I have to shout it out here. Everybody and their grandma likes Michael McDowell, but rightfully so. He is a really great writer, and he's a vintage writer that I think anybody could like, even if they don't normally like vintage horror, because he's a very approachable writer in terms of his style. Another summery read is The Drivein by Joe R. Lansdale. This one's zany and fun and different and really wacky, but a good time. Another one, of course, It by Stephen King. It is a freaking chunky boy, so do not go into it thinking it's going to be a quick read. However, if you're an audiobook fan, you might want to check it out. It is a great coming-of-age book. It is like a epic adventure, so I do recommend it. Another Stephen King book, which would be perfect for the summertime, Cujo, and I do actually think Cujo is a really awesome book. I've read the book and also watched the movie, and I like them both very much, and both, the heat is a big part. It feels like a definite perfect summer read. Another summery read, Slasher Witch at the Water Park. I just read this. This is on KU. It is so wacky, funny, fun. There is some gore. It's a good time, especially if you're looking for something quick, easy, and fun. I would say give Slasher Witch at the water park a chance. There were some parts where I just laughed out loud. The witch sometimes would just make me chuckle, because there's one part she becomes obsessed with these frozen drinks that she finds at the water park, and she doesn't know how to pronounce, like, frozen margaritas. She calls them fro-fro. She's like, fro-fro. I don't know. It made me laugh. And last but not least, another Fear Street book I wanted to shout out that takes place at summer camp is called Lights Out, and there's a gruesome kill in this book, and it is so good, and it is a great kind of summer camp themed Fear Street book. Alright, now I'm going to recommend some summary books that I have not read yet, but that look like they'd be perfect to fit this set during summer prompt. Alright, first up, another Fear Street book. I'm going to shout out Fear Street again. We've got Party Summer, a summertime Fear Street that I have not read, but that obviously would be perfect for summer and is obviously set during summer. So yes, this one would work. You could find a lot of vintage Fear Street on Pango Books. You could find them on Thrift Books. You could find them on Amazon. You could find them on eBay. You can find them at your local used bookstore sometimes, but I think it's easy to find them online. Also, there are new editions of a lot of Fear Street books on Amazon, so if you're struggling to find a vintage copy, try checking Amazon for collections of Fear Street books that are in these big bind-ups, and those are reasonable buys. Next up, Cruel Summer by Wesley Southard. I have had this book on my cart for a while, my TBR cart. I have not gotten to it, but summer's in the name. It's probably perfect for summer. That's why I wanted to make sure to shout it out here. I have not read it yet, but I definitely want to. Next up, I have no idea if this actually takes place during the summer, but this cover and the title just screams summertime to me. Like I said, animal attack is one of the subgenres of horror that screams summer in general to me, so Lords of the Deep. This could take place during autumn for all I know, but it just feels like it'd be a great summertime read. And last but not least, another coming-of-age book that I'd like to talk about that I will be reading this month, Malignant Summer. Unfortunately, there is no audiobook and it is a chunker, but this does take place during summertime, and I think this is on KU actually, so that's pretty cool. Yep. I'm really excited to get to this one. Look at this fantastic, unique cover. It takes place in 1998. In New Jersey.
People are getting sick, some citizens blame the local chemical plant, a select few believe something far more terrifying is responsible, a dreadful force that causes nightmarish visions, and apparent illness. Bad things are blooming in Hooperstown, and the stench of death is growing stronger. Standing on the edge of summer break, after the longest day of the 8th grade ever, Doug and his two best friends join a group of older kids for an all-night scavenger hunt. It's supposed to be a celebration, an evening of fun and freedom, but what happens that night will change their summer in the darkest ways imaginable. And not just their summer, but their entire lives.
Okay guys, those were all of my set during summer book recommendations, and the other prompt on the bingo board that I will be giving you recommendations for is a book featuring any holiday. So I will go over this in a second, but the third reading prompt is a mood read. I'm not going to go over that. I just wanted to say that a mood read, obviously you could read anything you want, anything that you're in the mood to read, so that's why I'm not going over that one. Alright, so now let's get into read a book featuring any holiday. The first book I want to talk about is not in front of me, but it is Nosferatu by Joe Hill, and that one we've got this evil dude named Charlie Manx, and he has this place that it's Christmas all year round, but it's not Christmas in a good, fun way, it's Christmas in an evil way. So I think that'd be a perfect book for Christmas Evil in July, because really, Charlie Manx is the king of Christmas Evil. Now, by the way, you do not have to read horror for any of the reading prompts if you don't want. You could read fantasy, you could read romance, you could read freaking anything, sci-fi, whatevs, anything as long as it fits the prompt in your mind. But here is a romance suggestion that is featuring a holiday. So my favorite romance book, and I don't like romance usually, but this one I did very much like, Just Like Magic, and it does take place around Christmas time, and our main character accidentally summons the Christmas spirit in human form, and it's a guy, and he is so hilarious, and their interactions are so hilarious and fun and funny, and I just loved it. It's not really realistic in any way, but that's what I think made me love it to the degree that I did love it. So anyway, if you're looking for a great Christmas romance read, I honestly think Just Like Magic is freaking amazing, and the audiobook was awesome. Alright, next up, Greetings from Moon Hill. This is a short story collection of Halloween-ish stories. Now, it's a town that literally it's Halloween all year long, so it doesn't necessarily mean that it is Halloween while the stories are taking place, but this town basically encapsulates the Halloween vibe, the Halloween mood. So you can count this book as a book that is set during any holiday, because literally in Moon Hill it is Halloween 24/7. It is Halloween all the time. So to me, that counts for this prompt. In a similar vein to Greetings from Moon Hill, we have Autumn Crow, which is another short story collection, and all the stories take place in Autumn Crow. That's what ties them together. And Autumn Crow, it is a place where Halloween is 24/7. Halloween is all year long. So it is awesome. It is just melancholy in the most autumn way. I can't explain it, but it's just the perfect read for Halloween vibes. Oh, it's so good. Another Fear Street recommendation, and this is really, I know that not everyone likes to read vintage books, and not everyone likes to read vintage, specifically YA books, but they are a lot of fun, and they're so easy to read. My friend Haley Hughes recently was talking about how much she's been loving Fear Street, and she does love this one, Silent Night. Silent Night is a perfect Christmassy Fear Street read, so if you're trying to go the Christmas route instead of the Halloween route, but you don't have to stick to those two holidays. You could do July 4th, you could do Groundhog's Day. Are there books about those holidays? Yes. But what I'm going to suggest is if you're going Christmas and you want to do a Fear Street vintage read, I'd say pick up Silent Night. You've got this mean rich girl that she's just so fun to follow because she's so over the top and ridiculous in her attitude. And I don't know, you get all these killings taking place, you got this mall setting, it's just got all these awesome vibes, and the climax at the end of the book is just very Christmassy and very spooky and very fun. So sticking with the Christmas theme, mostly my holiday recommendations are either about Christmas or Halloween, because I do read a lot of Christmassy and Halloween-y books during those specific times of year. So another one that is Christmas related is Such Nice People by Sandra Scopatone. I never know how to pronounce that. This is very hard to find. You will probably not be able to find a decently priced vintage copy. However, if you go to archive.org, you can find an online copy to read for free. So this one, we're following a family. There is some domestic stuff. It is a slow burn, but the ending is bonkers, tense, insane. There's a shed scene that everyone talks about, which is wild and off-putting. So yeah, I do think that this is a good read for Christmas, and it's not too Christmas heavy in that you feel like it's wintertime while you're reading. So if you want something a little more subdued when it comes to the Christmassy tones, this could be it. It reads like a thriller. Like I said, there is some examination of the relationships of this family and why the husband and wife are having problems. So if you don't like that, maybe steer clear. Two more Christmassy books, and these are specifically Krampus themed books. We've got a middle grade book first, I'll highlight, Krampus and the Thief of Christmas. I loved this book. I checked it out last year, and it was such a good time. Had a ball reading it. Very simple, very easy, great audiobook. I would totally suggest it if you want to read more Krampus-themed books that don't get a lot of shout-outs, because this one I don't hear anyone talking about, but I had a good time reading it last December. And the other Krampus-themed book I wanted to talk about is Krampus the EU Lord by Brom. I freaking loved this book so much last year when I read it in December. It blew me away. It was a lot of fun. The audiobook was out of this world. My friend Kaylee put this on her TBR. She's a co-host of this Readathon, and this is officially on her TBR, which I will link below, and I'm so excited for her to read it. I hope she likes it. It does have some fantasy elements, in my opinion, and it's just a really interesting book. It's a great character study, and it does have some action, too. Next up, The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury. This is a Halloween-themed book, and it's so well written and so beautiful. There's some, passages in here that are just so mind-blowing in the way they are written, and it just sounds so good when you read it out loud. I do recommend the audiobook. It's a beautiful book. It gives you the Halloween autumn vibes. Last but not least, a book that I've been touting a lot lately, Mayfly. Our main character loves Halloween. This does take place around Halloween, it takes place in the approaching months to Halloween. And then there are a couple of scenes that do take place over Halloween night itself. So yes, this would totally work if you're looking to try to get to this. It's a kind of a new release, and a lot of people have this on their radar, so it would work for set during any holiday because you've got scenes taking place over Halloween near the end of the book. Now for some holiday books that I have not read, but I wanted to shout out. First, we've got The Thief of Always by Clive Barker. I have heard that kind of represents both Christmas and Halloween, so check that out if you're interested. I have yet to read that one. Another one this one's more Halloween related. This is The Magic Hour by James S. Crowley. It sounds very sweet. It says, in a thrilling and otherworldly Halloween adventure, Eddie seeks to celebrate his birthday with his brother, and along the way develops a new understanding of life, so profound that not only his life, but the lives of all those around him will be changed forever because of the magic hour. Next up, this is a sequel, but it does take place around Halloween, Mina and the Slayers, and the original first book in the series, Mina and the Undead, that takes place over summertime. So if you're looking for a book set during summer, you could read that one, and you could read this one for the books set during any holiday. So you could read both books for this readathon if you wanted. They are a little chunky, but they are a lot of fun. Alright guys, those are my summer reading recs, also my Christmas Evil reading recs. So if you're looking for something for summer or for Christmas Evil in July, either way, I got you covered here. I hope you guys like some of the suggestions. What are you guys planning on reading for Christmas Evil in July? Let me know. What are your favorite reads to check out during the summertime? Also let me know that down below. But for this time guys, that is it for me. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Till next time guys, you know what you can do. Keep on killing it. Bye guys!